Hi, in this video I'm going to show you how to create a layout using Twitter Bootstrap. Well, this is a continuation of the previous video that showed you how to add the CSS styles for Twitter Bootstrap. If you haven't added them yet, please add them. This is the layout I'm going to create. When we are going to create a layout using Twitter Bootstrap, we use what they call the page grid. So Bootstrap's page grid system is contained of rows and columns. Now with this layout, you would have to figure out how many rows do you have in your layout, and in each row how many columns do you need. Now for example, this right here, logo navigation, this line right here would be one row. Then the area occupied by the banner would also be one row. The area occupied by these future elements or blocks would also be one row, and lastly the footer also one row. So in other words, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 rows. Then in each of these rows you will see that some are divided while others are not. So these divisions are what are going to be the columns. So this will be a column for logo, a column for navigation, then 4 columns as well for the feature. Okay, so let's create that. So we are going to insert 4 rows basically. In our code right here, we begin by inserting the container. You have 3 options in inserting a div tag in Remover. One, you could simply type that, a div class container, and you have your container. Then 2, you would use the insert menu, layouts, div tag. When you click that, it will bring that the insert div tag dialog box. Then 3, you can also use the insert panel right here. If you can't see it, most likely it's minimized like that, so you'd have to double click and then it will appear, or if it's not there completely, you simply go to window and then click on insert. So in the insert panel, you simply pick out insert div tag. Notice that before I click on the insert div tag, my cursor is blinking exactly where I want the div tag to be inserted. So insert div tag. So we want to insert the class container. You can see that there's a list of classes right there, so I'd simply type container, rather CON, and container pops up. Now you'll see that we have container and container fluid. We can use either of them. However, container is for fixed layouts, while container fluid is when you want a fluid layout, or rather a layout that occupies the entire page, regardless of the size of the screen. So I'll be going for container for now, but feel free to choose container fluid. So click OK. Notice whenever we insert a div tag, Remover will insert these words for us. Content for class container goes here. So we don't need these words inside a container, so simply press delete. So to keep my code organized, I'll keep indenting the code. You'll see what that means in a few seconds. Okay, let's add a new div tag. Insert div tag plus. This time we're inserting a row. Then click OK. I repeat the same thing. Delete. Then insert another div tag. Column LG3. Logo here. Why this figure and why LG? Because you should have noticed that there is also MD, SM, XS. Okay, so why have I used LG? Why have I picked 3? Now let me take you back to the layout. In this layout, this first row is divided into 2. Well, each row has 12 columns. Yeah, you can't see them right here, but it has up to 12 columns. So if I want to divide a row, I have a possibility of dividing that row into 12 columns. However, according to the layout, you'll see that there are only two, which means this first column is spanning a space of a number of columns, while this navigation is also spanning a space of a number of columns. So this is now up to you to figure out how many columns you want to span, or you want this logo to occupy, and how many columns you'd want the navigation to occupy. So visually you'll see that the navigation should occupy at least 3/4 of 12 columns. Then the rest will be left for the logo to occupy. Now if we have 12 columns in total to use for this row, and I take off 3 for the logo, it means navigation will be left with 12 minus 3, that is, yeah, right, 9. Well, if you gave the logo 2, it would mean navigation will take up the rest, and that will be 10. So you simply, that's how we divide rows. And that's the reason I have these 3 here, which means logo is going to take up 3 spaces of 3 columns, while the navigation is going to take up spaces of 12 minus 3, which is 9 columns. So if I have this as 2, then that means the navigation is going to take up a space of 12 minus 2, and that is 12 columns. Now I've also used LG, but if you had noticed while I was inserting LG, there was also MD, SM, and XS. So this is not a video on responsive layout, but LG means large, while MD means medium, then SM means small, then XS means extra small. That according to Twitter Bootstrap matches or tries to match the sizes of screens. So when using LG, it means you are creating a site targeting large screens. So for now I'll basically use LG, but you could as well use MD. So to keep my code organized, I'll press enter like that, tab to create that space, okay. So this is what I meant by keeping my code organized. Making sure that when I have a parent element like this one, its children should not start on the same line with a parent. The child, the first child, which is the div class row, starts 4 spaces away and also ends 4 spaces away from close tag. That is what I meant by indenting. So notice that also the div class called LG2 also is indented and starts 4 spaces away from its parent, which is row. Now it is important for me to type logo here so that I keep track of my columns and where I should type what. So typing logo here will visually tell me that, well, when I want to insert a logo, this is where it should go, because our classes don't really tell us what exactly should go inside. These are predefined classes. So now I want to insert a second column, which is for navigation. This first column right here is for the logo. Now the second one in the same row is for navigation. So notice where I've clicked right at the end of the closing tag of the first column, which is for the logo. Then I press enter to make sure that I am still inside the row but outside the first column. So right there, insert div tag, column LG 10, sorry, not MD, LG 10. Okay. navigation here. Notice that in my design area, possibly also yours, the layout is not coming out exactly as you've seen it in the Word document. Let's try and preview our page actually. Click on the preview button, it's right there, then preview in Firefox, or you could simply press F12 on your keyboard. So you can see logo is there and navigation is there. Somehow that's how our layout looks like. Let's proceed. Remember, we have 4 rows, so we only have so far 1 row at the moment. So let's insert another row. So while inserting another row, notice that I have to make sure I find out which one is the closing div tag for the row. There are a number of closing div tags. There is this one, but this one closes the nearest open div tag, so definitely closes called LG2. There's also this one, but this one closes also its nearest open div tag, which is div class called LG10. Then this one closes also the nearest open div tag. Remember, this has been opened and closed, which is safe. This has also been opened and closed, which is safe. So the remaining open div tag, or the closest div tag which is still open, is that one, and this is its closed div tag. Then you'll see that also this other div tag is the closing div tag of the closest open div tag, which is container. Okay, so click at the end of div class row right here, and then press enter. Then insert your new row. The row is really short, so I can just simply type it. Do the same thing, delete, create the space. So from our layout, we are going to add this banner. So that one occupies the entire space, right from the left side of the container to the right side. So insert com LG 12. Great. So banner, slideshow, or main feature goes here. Since it is only 1 row, it's only 1 column, so we go right ahead and insert another row. Okay. What are we inserting next? The feature blocks. They may look some smaller and others bigger, but I meant them to be the same. So basically, since there are 4 and we have 12 columns in total, this would be 12 divided by 4. So our feature blocks are going to occupy 3 columns each. So let's go ahead and insert the div tags. Column LG3. Okay. Feature here. So since there are 3 of them, rather there are 4 of them, and they're all going to take up the same class, so instead of inserting div tag blah 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 type, I simply copy and paste this. Copy 1, 2, 3. So that makes them 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then lastly, the footer, insert row, I could simply copy and paste this if I don't want to go to the insert div tag and paste it right there. Call LG10 and simply change this to footer here. After saving your changes and then previewing, this is what you should see. So once we have our layout like this, we can go ahead and keep inserting content